In this video, I'm going to show you how to get into AI coins right after they launch. We're also going to discuss some of the bigger coins in the AI meme coin space and also how to analyze them from a social perspective to try and work out where the top will come in. You have to understand that getting into these coins early, really early, that's where the big gains are. Even buying dips can be massive gains, like this one from 1 million to 25 million. That's 25x. Massive gains. And this was well after launch. This was a day after launch. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to discuss briefly GOAT. And if you see my recent AI meme coin videos, you will have seen me talk about this before. This is the premium AI meme coin. This is the best kind of background creator. And then you've got the best automated AI, which is Truth Terminal. So lots and lots of engagement on the posts, lots of interest, lots of intrigue as well. And in terms of price, we had a massive kind of scary dip in this one and a few other AI coins in the early hours on Monday. So let's have a look at that. Now, in terms of this dip on GOAT itself, if we take a fib level here, you can see that our whole move was basically retraced between the 618 and 786. So it's a very deep retracement. And since then, we're nearly at all-time highs again. Very close. I think if this is going to be the premium one in this particular niche or narrative, whatever you want to call it, then it's going to do what WIF has done before for general Solana kind of dog meme coins. And this potentially, if you look at the 1618 extension, it could definitely run to $1 billion. And it could be the first 1 billion pump fund coin, which I've mentioned before. I still think there's a scenario where that plays out. Now, it all depends on attention, eyes on this, and if it can sustain attention. But so far, it's been doing a very good job at that. And although volume is down a little bit, it's still very high. 51 million for the last 24 hours is very high. And already in the chart, you can see a lot of people have been shaken out of their positions, a lot of the early profit takers, etc. Another one I've discussed before is Ganan. But this is where it gets interesting. These are what you might call beta plays, if you want to call it that. So these are kind of secondary, large AI meme coins that get some mind share as well. But whether they can really run again and do what GOAT is doing is questionable. And this is where I like to use social analysis techniques as well. Because this particular one, you can see on 20th of October, it ran to nearly 200 million and has struggled since. Now this move off the lows, this could have been the start of something. But you need the move to be much more impulsive. Like we saw with GOAT, for example, off the lows, maintaining much higher lows and then pushing on with an impulsive move. And we're not seeing that. So if you go into a 15-minute, you can see very overlappy price action, which is not what you want. Even here, very overlappy. We really need this to do a little run of green candles for it to make sense that that was the low. And if it doesn't do that, then it's going to test these lows again. And that's a problem because that means this potentially, this coin is kind of dead. And if you look at hourly and if you look at the volume bars, you can see the volume here very big in that pump. And we've not managed to sustain that. But even then, still in the last 24 hours, 54 million in volume. So still a lot of volume. But remember, that could be a lot of selling volume as well. So we have to be careful with that. So with Ganan, I'm not as convinced personally. But keep an eye on it. Now, these larger ones, I actually don't actively trade. I was trading a little bit when they were smaller, but not anymore now because of something called EV, expected value. I'm not going to bore you with that today because it will take me quite a bit of time to explain it. But basically, in a nutshell, when you're buying lows on some of these coins, like you might be buying here now 70, 80, 90 million. With these ones, it's going to take a lot of energy and force and incredible attention on social media to get this to do a 2x. It's going to be a really big deal if this runs again to anywhere near 200 million. However, when you're buying some of these other coins that do these large dips, so let me just show you one like Shun, for example, this particular one, which ran from 500, even after a dip, ran from 500,000, 1 million, and then runs to 19 million. Now, to get this to do a 2x, where it goes from 1 to 2 million, is not that big a deal. You don't actually need that much in terms of volume coming in. And you can still buy at size, like not crazy size, but you can still get in for 10, 20, 30 sol and then sell for double. So it's still very possible. And it happens a lot faster. It can literally happen within minutes or hours. that you get a 2x. And on these trades, the expected value of your trade is way, way higher because there's more potential of it doing a 5, 10, or X or even more, as many of these buy the dip coins is done. So that's kind of EV in a nutshell. This is very, very difficult to get it to suddenly push to a 10x. Most of the time, you're just going to get every day 10% up, 10% down, 20% up, stuff like that. So for most of you watching, including me, not interested in that. Like, we need to make multiples here. Otherwise, why are we wasting our time with meme coins? There'll be no point. So keep that in mind when you're trading. Now, in terms of social analysis, I use LunarCrush. Now, all of the different tools I use, they have kind of freemium versions as well, and then they have paid versions as well. You don't always need paid. You can get away with the free versions. And in this, all you do on lunarcrush.com is you type in a ticker, or you can type in somebody's actual Twitter account to check engagement. And I've analyzed this to death because I've tried to correlate all of these different things like sentiment, creators, galaxy score, etc. with price. And the only ones that I find correlate reasonably well are engagement and mentions. And what I find, again, in a nutshell, because I don't want to bore you too much, basically engagement peaks first, then mentions peak a day or two later, but usually mentions peak after price. Price usually peaks at the same time as engagement hit. And if you actually have a look, this all peaked on the 20th, which is the exact time Ganan had peaked. So basically, after that point, I wasn't much interested. And then the other thing, as I've shown you in previous videos, is we start losing trendline support. And once we start losing that as well, then it becomes a bigger problem. So if you have a look, even without the dip here, you can have a look at that trend line going up there. Once that's broken, it's a bit of a problem now in terms of recovery. Because on the pump fund ones that really run at the beginning, it could take sometimes a few days or a few weeks. They usually run pretty fast. They don't usually have a bit of a pump, do nothing for weeks or months, and then pump and then do nothing. It's not like that. It's not slow accumulation. It's sudden, crazy interest. Think about Billy, Michi, Mudang, all of these coins. Crazy interest at the beginning, and then nobody cares anymore. That's usually what happens. So with a lot of these coins, we're already at nobody cares anymore. And then that's what's best then is to look at new AI coins, which is what I'm about to show you, the point of this video, how to find them right at the beginning. So that's what we're going to come to in just a minute. But just understand that there are some larger AI meme coins. A lot of you shouldn't be going near this. And even now, something like Shun, it doesn't make sense to trade this. Now, if you get a solid dip on this, then yeah, it makes it, then the EV is attractive. But if you're buying at the tops of the range here, then you don't know how to trade meme coins, then you're wasting time. So don't do that. Now, some of these, another interesting strategy, so many strategies you could do with the AI meme coins, but another interesting one is, one thing I've started to do is allow them to die. So either I do a dip trade, which sometimes, by the way, can be a massive trade. It can literally be 5x or more. Or I just buy them whilst they're dead and I just hold a 200k market cap coin. Because some of them will later, as long as it's got, a decent Twitter, decent socials, the meme coin actually makes some sense and somebody's actually posting actively on Twitter, maybe an active Telegram, they can pump later. Like this one pumped after, I believe it was a Forbes article about this particular AI. So if I click on the Twitter, you'll be able to see it here. So this FI AI, I think it's called Fiona or something, I can't remember, but basically it looks like an automated bot, automated AI posting all of the time. All kinds of weird stuff. And this was, I think, mentioned on an article. And the thing is, this is the other thing you have to realize with all of these coins. So we're talking about it now. It's me, you, and a few crazy people doing AI meme coins. And we're doing meme coins. We're this little small circle here. And then you got a larger circle of crypto. And these people are the people who bought Bored Apes and stuff like that. And they're like, what the hell are these Solana meme coins? I'm not going to touch them. And now suddenly they're aping in because they're like, I need to make some money. This cycle is finishing soon. What the hell am I doing? So they're jumping in. And then all of these clowns who are very bullish, XRP and Cardano and stuff like that, they're suddenly jumping in as well because they're like, what the hell am I doing? I've made literally nothing in 7 years holding XRP. Whereas these idiots on meme coins, they're making 5x in an evening. What am I doing? So they're jumping in. But then the circle gets larger because you're getting outside interest, outside media interest. That usually happens at the final, ender stages of a bull market cycle in crypto. That's when you get retail coming in. When you get retail coming in, you're just going to get any idiot off the street randomly pumping your AI coins, which is perfect. Which is why some of them very low, again, you think about EV, if you're buying it and it's just sitting at 200, it previously ran to 5 million, so there's a lot of interest, it's something unique, and it's sitting at 300k market cap. Think about it. If you do nothing and it drops to 150, no problem, your 5 SOL turns into 4 SOL, not the end of the world. If suddenly this garnishes a lot of interest, starts breaking out, this 200 to go to 2 million, I'm telling you, is not that big a deal nowadays. It's nothing. But for you, that's a clean 10x. Where else can you get 10x returns in anything nowadays? Like, it's crazy, crazy. That's why I'm so passionate about it. But I'm warning you as well, there's probably not that long. Like, these cycles don't last for years and years and years. There's only weeks when things go up and then things go sideways for a while. Nobody's interested. But the great thing about this cycle are memes. They've been good all through the cycle. There's never been a time when they're bad. And I'm not talking about massive memes like WIF going up and then going through long corrections. Why are you even trading WIF? Like, every single day there's new meme coins launching. Those are the ones you should be interested in. So let's get to Watchlist, and I'll show you exactly how it works in terms of finding new ones. So I have several Watchlists set up on Deck Screener. And you can use other software as well. I use Pump Vision sometimes. I use Photon's version as well, where we look at new graduated coins from Pump.fund. But Deck Screen is just easier. It has better charts. You can add more stuff to the watch list. So I tend to stick to this for my charting, not for trading. I don't buy and sell here on Deck Screener. I use Photon or Bullx, links in description. These are the filters I use for the new graduations. So if you click on filters here, you can see I put liquidity 15,000, Solana only in terms of platform, only care about Solana, pair age maximum 2 hours, 24-hour transactions 1,000, and I click apply. And then I want to sort it by volume high to low. Sometimes you might get a random scam coin at the top, so you can just ignore that. Now, majority of these are pump.fund. Sometimes you get other ones that are not pump. Again, I'm not interested in that. You can tell that easily by looking at the contract address. It usually ends with PUMP pump if it's a pump.fund coin. And all I'm doing here, the ones that pumped a lot in terms of volume, so loads of people were buying and selling. So there's a lot of interest. So something must have been going on there. But the market caps have kind of dropped now and tanked. I want to have a look at that. And I want to see if there's anything in this. So I quickly open this. It shouldn't take you more than like 10-15 minutes. Just open these and get on a few charts, get onto a 1 minute, start looking and see what's going on. Do we have any socials to go on the right hand side? If you don't see them, sometimes if you copy and paste the address into, for example, Photon is one of the trading softwares I use. So here, when I copy and paste it onto Photon, I've got some socials there, so I can click on the Twitter and I can open it because you don't always see it there. And then you can quickly go through it and see, is there anything interesting new? Like it's so obvious if you've been doing meme coins for a while, if it's just complete rubbish or it's another picture of a dog or if it's something new and something interesting, you can have a look at that. How many posts are there? How much engagement is there? Like anybody making an effort on this? Or is it an existing AI character or something that's been posting for months already, which is a little bit more bullish? So we're doing that analysis. Then I'm interested, like, all right, so no problem. I've seen some volume go in. Where did we top? 1 million, round numbers, always round numbers. Been talking about that on my channel now for must be 12 months now. And I still bang on about it because it's so important. So this is now pretty much, you would say, died off. Now, it's very, very common for a lot of profit taken to suddenly turn into everybody jeeting out the door. Sometimes, now this is a very small coin, so I probably wouldn't touch this one. I would do more research, obviously, on what the Twitter's about and stuff like that. Don't have time for that right now, but that's what I would do. And then I would look at areas where we might see significant bounces. So sometimes, for example, from a 1 million, 250 would be an area, 100,000 would be another area, where you just get a lot of automatic buying. And then to go for 100,000 to 300,000 or 400,000 is not that big a deal. Already 3x, 4x. But these tiny market cap ones, you don't put 50 SOL down or 100 SOL. You just put 5 SOL or just a handful of SOL. That's all you're doing. And you're just trying to see if you can make some money on that and move on. So that's a dip buying. So that's not us buying the active pump. That's us buying a dip. That may turn into something massive, but more than likely will be a dead cat bounce and then it will dump. But you could still make money on that because this still is garnering attention. It's still brand new. It's still only been out for 2 hours. I'm not saying this particular coin. I haven't researched this coin. I'm just saying in terms of structure of the charts. Same here again. What's the story with this? A lot of pumping. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of selling at 5 million. And we usually get some nice bounces from there. So 1 million mark would be a very, very nice bounce point as well if it's still pumping. We want to, again, check the socials and stuff like that. Same with all of these. Now, some of these are going to be, this probably a scam coin, this particular one. Some of these are related to AI, some are not. I would say stick to the ones related to AI. So it's very simple to check. Just open up their Twitters, see what they're on about, and you'll be able to find out from there. So if I go a little bit further down, you can see even in terms of names to autistic intelligence, terminal of degen, stuff like that. Anything that's gone now below 100,000 is probably dead. So obviously don't touch anything like that. Generally, the sweet spot are the ones that ran quickly to 5 or 10 million and are now pulling back to 1 or 2 million. That's the real sweet spot, because that's something that's like nothing's going to run to 10 million unless it had some random little bit of substance behind it. And if you saw by AJ, you see that some of these are literally minutes old. So you're literally buying very, very soon after the initial pump and it got to a completed bonding curve and got the radium liquidity pool. Very, very early you're getting into this. First link in the description, my comprehensive training program. And I've added a lot of new content on this. In particular, it's hold accounts that I've been concentrating on and holder analysis, especially sentiment analysis as well. So this is really important for those of you who are buying kind of mid caps and want to hold for a little bit longer. You need to know like how many people are holding it, like holding above 10,000, holding above $100, etc. And how many of those have been selling in the last 24 hours? I do a lot more in terms of work on EV calculations as well, because I think it's really, really crucial. And a lot of people, meme coin trading, have like zero clue about this. They're there buying SPX and stuff like that, hundreds of millions of market cap, not knowing that tonight you can literally do 3 or 4x in an hour or two. And SPX, for it to do a 3 or 4x, you might be waiting months to years and it may never even happen. The types of holders as well, the breakdown of holders, very, very important. When you see these new coins running to peaks, there are signs before they break out that you can tell just from whale holding. Next week, I'm going to close access to the training. So you've got time to get in if you're interested. And the reason for that is basically this folder here, where I've literally got hundreds and hundreds of charts that I've analyzed. And I just need some time to actually add all of this to the training, where basically I analyze all charts that are broken out, especially those coins over the last 2-3 months, because I've just seen the same patterns happen again and again. So let me just zoom into some of these to show you. I've noticed like a lot of these coins, yeah, obviously every coin is different. They have different narratives and stuff like that, but the buyer and seller psychology, it doesn't really change. So you're seeing the same signs again and again on some of these coins. And some of it's working so well that I could leave like orders on coins overnight and they would trigger like for a 1.1 million buy or something like that. And I wake up the next morning and then it's back up to 4 or 5 million. Just because I've been strategic in exactly where I'm buying these coins. Entry price is really, really important. Don't ever forget that. Like, it's where you buy into the coin that makes all the difference in terms of ROI. Something could run to 50 million, but if you bought it at 40, you've not done a great job. But if you waited for it to run to 40, pull back to 10, and then go to 50, that's a 5x. Notice how different that is, a 5x and a 20% gain. Massive, massive difference. And I'm closing the training next week, so I have time to add all of this brand new content where I do like extensive analysis on all of these old charts. So you'll be able to visually see same things happen again and again and again. And you're like, okay, I know what to do now. When the price hits here, I've seen this happen before so many times. So if you still want to get in, there's a 50% off coupon code below as well. You'll see it in the description. That should be active until next week. Regardless of whether you can get into these AI coins early, one thing's for sure, you've caught the AI meme coin narrative very, very early compared to the wider population and media and stuff like that. Very, very early. So whatever happens, just keep that in mind. Do the work, learn how to trade some of these coins. And also remember, you make your own luck as well. Even if you're brand new, you might catch one of these AI meme coins without knowing it. And it could be your first trade and you could hit a home run. Like, you just don't know. So I would say spend as much time on it as you can. You might regret it further down the line. Look, you win some, you lose some. But if you don't like actually play those chips, you'll never know. Thanks for listening.